Hi everybody, this is Alchemist2 and I'm back again with another movie review. Recently I went to see The Hobbit, the Desolation of Smaug, or Smaug, and I absolutely adored it. It fit in perfectly with the very first Hobbit, of course, and The Hobbit is actually my favorite of all LOTR books. I never read the original LOTR, but I did read The Hobbit, and I don't really recall how it ends. But I kind of do because I remember seeing the animated version of The Hobbit when I was in high school. No, actually, no, I think it was junior high. Yeah, it was junior high. Junior high. And I always really enjoyed that version of it, but I actually like the live action version just because I think it's far better. And of course, everything about this is just absolutely unbelievable, and I think it even surpasses The Hobbit. It's a little bit, actually, it's much darker. There are a lot of scenes in this that are very intense, and they may be a little bit too intense for little ones, so I wouldn't recommend taking a child younger than 7. Maybe if they're 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, at least in that age range, they could probably tolerate it a little bit better. But if they're younger, they might be scared by the scenes with the orcs. I know I would if I were a little kid. Those orcs are just really grisly and gruesome and very unnerving and sinister. They are evil incarnate. Actually, there's more than one evil incarnate in this film that's presented, and there are a lot of really good quotable lines, I think, that are very allegorical and very interesting. I just love all the characters, and Benedict Cumberbatch was in this, but I couldn't find where he was. And Thorin Oakenshield's back, of course, and we met him in the very first film, and he's trying to lay claim again to his kingdom, and there's a scene that actually made me cry, and I wasn't expecting that, but it's very emotional, and I really liked it, and it was just really beautiful and poetic. It was very grand soliloquy, I thought, and just really amazing. Of course, Orlando Bloom is Legolas. Woohoo! Yeah, usually I don't go for the blonde types, but they're, blonde-haired man is actually not that unattractive, I think. But I like a man who has dark hair and dark eyes rather than blonde hair and blue eyes, just because to me that's very bland and vanilla, and I just want different in my life, and I'm not Aryan. I like variety, dagnabbit. Plus, I would like to see my kids have the chance of having dark eyes, so I think that would be pretty cool too, rather than blue eyes. I know this sounds kind of weird, but recessive genes, they're a lovely thing, but I really like dark eyes and dark hair. Why am I getting off on that topic? Sorry, it's just I was thinking about Orlando Bloom and how handsome he is, and I adore Legolas. And Toraline, I'm gonna name a cat that. Once I get a female cat, if I ever get a female cat, I'm going to name her Toraline. My reason being is because Toraline kicks butt, takes names, and is just this kick butt archer, and she can hold her own, and she is just the most amazing she-elf ever created. I just love Toraline. She's just amazing, and you learn about something with her, and yeah, I'm not going to go into that because there's a little bit of a spoiler alert, so I'm not going to talk about it. Of course, if you remember anything from the very beginning, ring wraiths haven't been really introduced yet. The ring wraiths are actually in LOTR, and when we learn all about them, and it actually kind of leads into that. And you're like, oh yes, this is where the ring wraiths come into play, and then you get more about Sauron and his incarnation, and it's just, ooh, it's just so grisly. And then there's a part with spiders that just kind of unhinges me a little bit. I'm not a really big fan of spiders. I mean, I like them for the ecology, but they're just creepy. Yeah, this plays out very well. Rabagast is back. Rabagast the Brown. He's awesome. I love him. Which I've always loved Thorin Oakenshield because he's the king, and we learn a lot about him and the different dwarves. And Keeley, of course. Keeley is the one that we learn quite a bit about this particular film, but I'm not going to go into why. It's very involved. It's very multi-layered, and the CGI is just gorgeous. And of course, the music is too. Howard Shore, my hero. And if anybody can please tell me what role Benedict played, I would be very, 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 very indebted to you, because I love Benedict Cumberbatch. Of course, I know that the actor who played the role of Bilbo, another favorite of mine, was played by Watson, the actor who plays Watson's part. And everybody, especially Gandalf, who's another one of my ultimate favorites, and my mother's too, he really did a just remarkable job. It was a splendid film. It was gorgeous. I loved it from beginning to end, and had romance and an action, adventure, humor. That the overtones were much, much darker in this one than the original. Of course, the original still had some dark, ominous nature about it, just because of the nature of the orcs and all that. It's just really quite amazing film, and there's so many good things to be learned from it. And later on we learn about how this will later lead on to the cooperation of all these different realms together at first, because we know, if we've read the original books, they just don't coexist at all. They really had no reason to until Sauron appears. So this is the catalyst that really will bring them together as a whole, as you know if you've seen LTR. Well, The Hobbit is my ultimate favorite, and Smaug, oh my lord, he is absolutely perfect. I don't know who they had voicing Smaug, but his rendering and everything about him is perfection. He really is. And if you love dragons as much as I do, you're just sitting there going, I mean, I'm having a lot of fangirl moments right there. I just adore dragons, and Smaug was a thing of beauty, really. He was, and I just absolutely loved him, even though he's the villain. One of the villains, and, you know, he represents greed and all these other allegorical, metaphorical concepts, of course, and death and fire. He even says that I am death, I am fire. And I like that, and it's just, oh Lord, he was just absolutely massive and just purely resplendent in every way, shape, and form. Desolation of Smaug, 5 stars, hands down, and I just absolutely loved it. And if you have a chance to see it. It's well worth it. If you see the first one, just go and see it. It's a good film. Of course, it might be too frightening for the little kids, but the action sequences in and of themselves are just off the charts epic. It truly is something to behold, especially when the elves get involved, because I love the elves. The elves are absolutely my favorite. Of course, I've always loved the elves. I mean, who doesn't? Legolas? Woo! Sorry, I have to. But I absolutely adored it, and I highly recommend it if you ever get a chance to go and see it.